Happy New Year, Queen. It's Melisi Crawford of thequeencode.com. And yes, you heard me right, Melisi Crawford. If you haven't heard the news by now, Queen, I got married. On Saturday, December 29th, 2012, I married the love of my life, my king, Carl Crawford, in a very private, beautiful ceremony here in our home with 33 of our closest family and friends. And Queen, I gotta tell you, it was such a magical, enchanting day. It was literally the best day of my life. And I wish I could relive it 1,000 times over in slow motion. So Melisi Knox Brunson has officially transitioned to Melisi Crawford. So that's one change. 3 days after our wedding on January 1st, I actually celebrated my 30th birthday. So turning the big 3-0, right? And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. But, you know, big changes abound. New name, new decade, and also new year. But not just big changes, Queen, for me, also for you and for the queens on a very global level. 2013 is a very, very powerful year for the queens, and that's what I want to talk to you about in this video. You know, as I was preparing this message and opening my heart, wanting to understand what the prophecy was for us in 2013. You know, I'm preparing the message, opening my heart, and as I did that, the message came so much, so fast, so abundant, just like the energy of the 2013 year, that I realized that I couldn't give this prophecy to you in just one video. So this is actually a 3-part video because it's a threefold prophecy. And that number 3 is a very powerful number, Queen. It's an odd number, but it's a perfect number. And by perfect, I mean complete. And by complete, I mean whole. And that's how we are, Queen. We are perfect, not in the way that, you know, we don't make any mistakes or we can't do anything wrong. It's not like that. It's perfect, meaning complete, meaning whole, meaning everything that we need to reach our fullest expression is already within us. When we're aligned with the truth of who we really are, there is no lack, there is no limitation. And in a very deep way, the journey that we go through in our life is all about remembering and realizing that one truth, that we are whole, that we are complete. So the prophecy again is threefold, and the number 3 is very powerful. 1 can be overpowered, and 2 can actually defend themselves, right? 2 can look out for themselves. 2 is actually a powerful number 2 because it's only at that level that we really begin to multiply. So 1 can be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves and even multiply, but anything that has the 3 composition has great potential because it's not easily broken. So this is part 1 of the threefold prophecy. So part 1 of the prophecy is this. You ready? Queen, it is harvest time. Now I know you're like, I've heard that before. All jokes aside, it's harvest time, Queen, but not just any kind of harvest. I'm talking about this is the year where you can actually reap the greatest harvest ever. This is the year that actually has the potential to be the most successful year of your life. This is the year where everything you've been through all of a sudden seems to make sense. This is the year where things that you felt like you were blocked from in the past, and especially last year in 2012, this is the year where all of a sudden it's like you get the green light. I'm talking checks that you've been waiting on all of a sudden just start to come through. This is the year where you get the green light to actually step into that doing part that really will allow you to elevate to a higher level. This is that year. This is harvest time. Queen, it is go time. It's not sit back anymore, cocoon, and no, it's go time this year, Queen. But the thing about the year of the harvest, I'm talking the year of the greater harvest, it's going to require greater faith. The greater harvest requires greater faith. And I'm not talking about just any kind of faith because, Queen, I know you're a woman of faith. You're watching this video, like attract likes. I know you're a woman of faith. But Queen, what I'm talking about is walk on water type of faith. This is the year of the greater harvest. I'm talking supernatural miracles. And in order for that to occur, Queen, you have to have some supernatural walk on water type of faith. You know, in the past, you may have allowed some fears to block you and stop you. And fear is something that will never go away, but it's something that we can learn to overcome instead of allowing it to overcome us. You know, I heard Oprah say one time, she was quoting author Marianne Williamson. She said, fear is trusting in your own power. Queen, so many times, all the time, when we allow fear to block us and stop us from taking the next step, it's only because we're trusting in our own power. And in order to reap that greater harvest in 2013, we have to stop trusting in our own power and begin to pull on the divine power that we have access to. In order for us to get to that greater prophecy in 2013, we have to realize that we're not mighty in our own power. It's only when we begin to really use that divine inheritance that we're able to truly find and reign on our throne. So many times, Queen, we're walking around broken, and it's like, you know, the way I see it sometimes, it's like we're walking around broken, right? But we have a $1 billion lottery ticket in our back pocket. We're walking around in a state of fear and intimidation and brokenness when we have such potential. We're rich. All we simply have to do is take the necessary steps to go and claim our divine inheritance. So, Queen, this is the year of the greater harvest, and everything is aligned for you to be totally abundant, for you to really get ahead. Again, it is go time. But in order to do that, you have to step out and actually walk on faith. In other words, step out of that boat and begin to walk on water. And is that an easy thing to do? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, when you think about in the Bible, when Peter began to walk on water, when the wind started picking up and the wind started howling, he began to doubt and he began to sink. And the thing that's going to be a challenge for us this year is to learn how to stay focused no matter what's around us. Because this year you're going to be called to do things that don't really make sense to most people. You're going to be called to do some very supernatural things. And we can't allow the wind and the noise of other people's opinions and thoughts and comments to block us and to make us doubt in a way that we begin to sink. We have to know how to step out of that boat and begin to walk on water and walk towards the truth. The truth of who we are. The truth that we have so much potential, but it's only when we align with the divine power that we have within us. When we begin to rely on our own strength, we're limited. But when we begin to really clothe ourselves in our divine power, we become unlimited. So, Queen, that is the prophecy for you for 2013, part 1 of the prophecy. It is absolutely harvest time. You have the green light. Go. 2012, there are a lot of things that we tried to do and it just didn't seem like it was working out. This is a different energy. 2013, sweetie, go. If you're being told to write that book, write that book. Sometimes we make New Year's resolutions and we have our goals and some dreams that we want to accomplish for the new year. But I want you to take a look back at those goals and dreams. Are they kind of things that are just slightly out of your comfort zone? Things that you can probably achieve, if you kind of just applied yourself? Are they the type of goals that, are just kind of comfortable type of goals? Or are they they're goals that reflect the fact that you have greater faith? What kind of resolutions or goals do you have this year? The ones that show that you're trusting in your own power, or the ones that show that you have greater faith? Let me tell you, the ones that I wrote down for myself this year, I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I don't know how. And that's a good thing, because that means that in order for the goal and the dream to be manifested, I have to rely on power outside of my own power. I have to rely on something deeper than myself. In order for me to manifest the dreams and the goals that I wrote down, and I actually called it my 2013 Walk on Water list, in order for those things to manifest, it's going to come through divine power, Queen. So look back at those resolutions and goals that you wrote down for the year. And if it seems like they're just kind of small things or things that you feel that you can do with your own power, I want you to elevate those. I really want you to get deep in your heart. Maybe you have a goal of writing finally that book, and you're saying to yourself, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I have no money. Maybe that's a good goal for next year. No, if your heart is really desiring to write a book, Queen, write the book. Don't worry about how it's going to get to total manifestation. Start writing the book. You'll see a very interesting and supernatural turn of events that will actually lead you to completion. Queen, don't limit yourself. Don't be fearful, because again, fear is only trusting in your own power. And we have access to greater power, Queen. So the prophecy is, this is the year of the greater harvest. But it's going to come through greater faith. It's going to come through some walk on water, supernatural kind of faith. That's the prophecy, the first part of the prophecy for 2013 for the queens. And I want to leave you with the queen leadership tip of the week, because as queens, we are leaders. We're divine leaders. And it's truly time for us to step into that, because we have some great work to do. So your queen leadership tip for the week is this. As queens, we are not mighty in our own power. As queens, our might comes from divine power, God's power. And it's only in that kind of power that we truly reign, okay? So that's the message for this week. In the meantime, Queen, I would love for you to visit my site at www.thequeencode.com. If you go to the site, I have a wonderful gift for you there. It's a free audio, Queen, You Were Born to Succeed. And in this free audio, you're going to get a blueprint for how you can really step into your power, how you can really step out on faith in 2013 and beyond. So go to the site, www.thequeencode.com, and claim your free gift. And I'll talk to you soon.